Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling review series. We continue the series when we can. There aren't that many episodes up, but we got over 200, which is awesome out of the 450 or so that the show produced or were produced for the show, however you want to put that. But this is the May 9th, 1987 edition of the program. I believe this is probably the New England or Boston feed. I don't have proof of that except they're plugging Boston Garden, so that would be my guess. Anyway, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Tiger Chung Lee are out here. And Steamboat, of course, winning the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 3 back at the end of March. So this is one of the few matches he has as champion because he leaves in June. Tiger Chung Lee had been around for a couple of years at this point, sporadically, and he takes over on Steamboat very aggressively here. A lot of punch kick, basic stuff, nothing necessarily worth writing home about, but Steamboat slides through, gets a body slam up and off, and hits a big shot to the midsection, and ultimately kind of was there. Some hard shots and a ducked clothesline, 2 count, and hard shots and basic things there. Big body slam, and ultimately just a slam off the top, and shot to the top of the head, and again a 3 count from the top rope. Steamboat getting the victory there. Bobby Heenan and Ken Patera are mid-feud post Patera's release from jail. That's the major bit there that's of, I guess you'd say, major note, is that they show the highlights of Patera wrenching the neck of Heenan with a belt. Heenan pulls the belt out, and then Patera beals him across the ring with the belt around his neck. I don't think you could get away with that today. I didn't even like watching it from 87. I'm sure they did it safely, but whatever. Not a fan of that. Butch, Nikita, Volkov, and the Iron Sheik versus Jim Powers, Joe Murto, and Paul Roma up next. And obviously, all 3 of these men managed by Slick. I think I've mentioned before, but I'll mention it again. The run of Butch Reed, not exactly great. Outback Jack is brought in here in a inset promo, mainly, I think, around the idea of potentially connecting with the opportunity to win matches with Reed around the circuit. That at least seems like the idea. The Young Stallions push really hasn't begun to go full steam, but does within the next couple of months here. Powers, with the hip tosses, arm bars, and the like, tags off to Roma. Roma comes in on the former world champion, Iron Sheik, and hits a shot to the arm there. Basic stuff. Again, nothing to really write home about. Basically, and then we see that there's a hard shot there, and ultimately into the buckle, and then again Butch Reed, given the kind of superplex feeling, and gets the victory there. We go to Hulk Hogan, who is promoting his upcoming Texas Death Match with Harley Race in the Boston Garden. No DQ. Fans not exactly totally familiar with Texas Death Match rules in the WWF at the time. Obviously, most of those done in Southern Territories, specifically Texas, but not just Texas. I think invented by Dory Funk Sr. Anyway, but the idea is basically a no DQ match. We call them Last Man Standing today. Jake Roberts and Rick Gantner up next, and this is, Jake Roberts turning babyface a few months before in time for WrestleMania 3. Full swing on the babyface thing there. Gantner had some minor runs in Florida and hard shots along the way. And ultimately, short clothesline there, and ultimately, tosses him to the outside, brings him back into the ring, hits the DDT, and away we go. Tosses the snake on the man, and then, of course, Billy Jack Haynes does a small inset promo about wanting to face off against Hercules Hernandez again, renewing or remaining their feud from the WrestleMania 3 run. And Billy Jack Haynes, a guy who just with mental health, emotional health issues, never really got in line with things there. And then we go to Killer Khan versus Mike Richards. Killer Khan has been brought back. He was and is coming into the area around 1980-81 for his run with Andre the Giant. He goes off and goes to various other territories. And, of course, his facing off with Mike Richards here, very one-sided. Mr. Fuji happy with his investment in Killer Khan. Khan with a bunches of punches and kicks and the top rope knee drop getting him a victory here. Obviously has a short run here for about 6 to 8 months maximum. Has a run with Hogan on top in the time frame, and it's kind of it's interesting, and tough run, back kick and all of that, but again the win. Then we see the Outlaw Ron Bass kind of talking about Miss Betsy and how he wants to cause trouble with Miss Betsy, and he's going to set everyone in the WWF right. We move to another in the six-man tag match run for a reason that doesn't really make sense. Coco Ware and the Killer Bees against three enhancement talents, Pete Doherty, Steve Lombardi, and Terry Gibbs. Match is obviously a showcase for the baby faces, and all three baby faces are wearing black and yellow masks in I guess, honor of the Killer Bees. Tags off, and they all stay in the masks. Maybe they were going to merchandise the masks at one point. Anyway, hard shots along, and atomic drop by, I believe it's Brunzell, and clotheslines. And, of course, Coco comes in, hits the brain buster, the ghetto buster, and ultimately gets a win there. Move to our main event for the day. Bret Hart and Davey Boy Smith. Of course, the Hart Foundation still your tag team champions, I believe, at this point. I don't think they lose them till later in the summer months. Davey Boy and Bret still going at it. Dynamite, obviously out of action due to his back injury around the time. He does come back, but he basically managed to up himself for the WrestleMania 3 and then slowing down a bit. Anyway, shots into the buckle by Davey Boy. Davey Boy and Bret having an amazing match here, even in 87, 5 years before their Intercontinental title match here. Worth going out of your way to see this particular contest if you've never seen it, just from the sense that there's a chemistry between guys regardless of age and time. I would love to have seen more of the Calgary Stampede stuff. Bret Hart also really makes every move matter, and hard shot to the nature of things. Inverted atomic drop and hard run there. And a kick to the midsection along the way. And ultimately, it's a rough go of it. Big attempted, basically the inverted um, tombstone tried by Hart, and Davey Boy comes out and gets the victory with the power slam on the shoulder that he's known for later. That power slam, a pretty big thing. Jimmy Hart begging off. Also, Danny Davis on the outside, and we see Davis try to come in and interfere post-match. That doesn't exactly go too well. Then we see hype for the Honky Tonk Man coming up. House show match talking about putting a single together for snakeskin boots. Obviously, poking fun at Jake Roberts, as it were. And that will close the show. We'll be back with more right after this.